Hello and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Ali Azaz and I am Head of Alumni Relations. Today with us we have a very distinguished guest whose name is Mr. Muhammad Nasir Rashid, and he is an experienced doctor with more than 28 years of in-field experience, and he's also CEO and founder of Hair Club Pakistan. And today Dr. Nasir has signed an MOU with Alumni Association and UCP to support and collaborate with us. And Dr. Nasir has been referred by one of our very celebrated alumnus. So Dr. Nasir, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum ji, I'm fine, alhamdulillah, thank you for inviting.
You're welcome, Dr. Saab. I have given you a brief introduction, but I would like you to tell our audience, our viewers about your journey. How did you started this initiative of hair transplant for the first time in Pakistan?
I think it was 1992 and I started experiencing hair loss myself, and I was completely shattered at that time because there was no option to even stop hair loss. To whichever doctor I went at that time, everyone said this is genetic because you have it in your family, so probably just accept it. But my mind, or you can see my personality, said that I'm not going to accept it. That's the foundation of Hair Club.
Great. That is really amazing that you took motivation from your own self. So Dr. my question, because since we are in a university and it's linked with youth and our alumni, they are also young, that hair loss is genetic, or is it something linked with some body disease or something else?
Before I give any comments on this, I think everyone needs to know that there are two subjects now. Everyone is aware of genetics, but there is a more important subject and learning and knowledge about epigenetics. Epigenetics is now taking up more time, space, effort, budgets than genetics. What is epigenetics? Epigenetics is a new subject, it's a new specialty which says that although you are predisposed to certain diseases because of the gene that is coming to you from one of your parents, but still the nature hasn't kept you helpless. That's epigenetics. Epigenetics is basically intervening or studying those approaches or those practices or those ingredients or those foods or that kind of lifestyle which can influence your genes. So it's a very interesting subject. You have a gene, but somehow you get your power back because you got a bad gene from one of your parents, and there are two ways: either you accept it or you say no, I'm going to fight this bad gene. So epigenetics has proved that you can control and manipulate even a bad gene. You can control the time of its turning on. It doesn't matter if you have a bad gene. It will damage you when that bad gene becomes active. So there are mechanisms in the body, there are foods, there are ingredients, there are lifestyle changes which can turn on and turn off a bad or a good gene. That is epigenetics. So what you said, that is it genetic? Yeah, to a certain extent in males, the basic cause is genetics. Like if someone from your paternal or maternal grandparents was bald, or your uncles or maternal, paternal granduncle or uncles were bald, you are at high risk of experiencing the same kind of hair loss. But that doesn't make you sitting chicken or sitting turkey that now you can't do anything, you can't move. Epigenetics has given hope to all the sufferers, not only of hair loss, but anyone who has any genetic disease.
Great.
Because now this theory, which is now proven, that you can manipulate the gene, you can turn it off. That's the highest success, that you can turn off a bad gene, you can turn on a good gene to counter the negative impact. So somebody who has a gene for hair loss, who has it in his family, he should not get disheartened that now I have it in my family and my hair loss has started, I'm going to get bald. Not in this time, not in this 2024 which we are entering very soon. So you can take so many measures to delay your hair loss, to stop your hair loss, and with the new approaches which are now available, even you can regain certain lost hair without transplant.
This is really motivating for all the people who are suffering through this. This was about hair loss, and today in your talk we also discussed about that hair loss and skin diseases are basically reflecting something wrong is going on inside your body. So can you elaborate a bit?
Yeah, as I told that there are good ingredients, bad ingredients, good lifestyle choices, bad lifestyle choices, and these choices directly impact your epigenetics and indirectly your genetics. So if you have a predisposing factor, if you have a risk factor from any of your parents for any genetic disease, it can be hair loss, it can be diabetes, it can be heart disease, it can be blood pressure. Hair loss is very easy kind of disease. These are more serious. Yes. Diabetes, heart disease, epilepsy, asthma,
indeed,
right? Diabetes. So if you have any risk that your mother or father or your grandparents had these conditions, including hair loss, you should be extra careful in your life choices, whether it's regarding your food, whether it's regarding your lifestyle, whether it's regarding your decisions regarding life. Everything will affect your genetics. Even if you have a bad gene, that doesn't matter that you are doomed for life. You can control that gene, right? So I would phrase it in 2 sentences. Learn to say no and never take no for an answer. So this should be the principle.
Okay.
So if हमारे साथ होता क्या है कि यहाँ पे डॉक्टर ने कह दिया कि आपके खानदान में था, अक्सर डॉक्टर ही कह देते हैं, जो डर्मेटोलॉजिस्ट कह देगा वो कह देगा आपके खानदान में था, आपका तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, आपके तो अब बाल गिरेंगे.
Exactly.
तो बट आई एम अ लिविंग एग्जांपल. मुझे भी डॉक्टर ने कहा था कि आपके खानदान में आपके नाना, दादा, मामू, ताया, चचा सब बॉल्ड थे, मेरे फादर भी. तो उन्होंने कहा नाउ यू हैव टू लिव एज अ बॉल्ड पर्सन. आई सेड नो.
That is really amazing. One should be determined.
Yeah.
And the faith is in in your own hand actually.
Yes.
This is what. Okay, Doc Sahab, my next question, which is very relevant to us as well. So since you have a chain of multiple clinics and you have a big team and you have hired many of our alumni there who are working for your team, who are working as your team members. So how was your experience with working with UCP students?
I think what I see is that we have so much potential in younger generation, so much potential, and our younger generation or a younger lot that is coming up, they are so talented, they are so hardworking, they are so aware about the latest advancements, and they are so tech savvy. But the tragedy is that we are losing and we are mismanaging that resource, and they are just going away from Pakistan, and which should be an eye opener for all of us, and which should ring the bells. We are losing so much people. मेरा experience, frankly, मतलब जो हमने hire किए, we never had, मैंने अभी भी नहीं रखा कोई criteria कि हमें येल का चाहिए, हमें हार्वर्ड का चाहिए, हमें लम्स का चाहिए, हमें IBA का चाहिए, हमें Ivy League का बंदा चाहिए. मैंने ही नहीं रखा, because I believe कि the person should be honest, sincere with his own profession, with his employer, with his industry, and he should be hardworking. He should be open to ideas. He should be open to new learning avenues. He should not put up place मैंने डिग्री कर लिया, मैंने कुछ नहीं करना, क्योंकि असली काम तो शुरू डिग्री करने के बाद होता है.
Exactly. Rightly said.
तो I think UCP से हमारे पास अभी 1-2 ही लोग आए हैं, और they are doing very good, and definitely there is an adjustment period, and हमारी organization इस तरह की है कि we are very tolerant and we want people to come and grow with us, and we help them grow and they help us grow.
That is the best thing one employer can do for their team. So since we had an MOU with the Alumni Association as well, and we are really grateful that you offered 25% off discount and free medical camps for our alumni, students and faculty residing in Pakistan and residing abroad as well. So I would request you that what can be a one lifelong advice which you want to give to the youth through this medium?
I think the take-home message from my side at the end of this activity which we had today, it was really a good activity, and I really appreciate your efforts and your vision to create awareness about preventive health in younger youth, which is the right age group in which you can manage your health and you can prevent yourself from a lot of debilitating diseases in future, which might be waiting for you if you are not careful about your this age bracket. So the take-home message, I think, is that for younger lot, they should take their life seriously. I think everyone does party, everyone enjoys, no one is going to stop you, and but you should maintain a balance, and you should always be prioritizing your career, your education and your future plans. That should be the top priority. After that, do whatever your heart tells you to do. Be as wild as possible, because these times will not come. But never compromise on your education, career and your plans for future. Keeping those intact, do whatever you want to do, right? And I think what I can share as something that I experienced myself, I don't come from a business background. My father was a chemical engineer. He worked all his life for 30 years in Ravi Royan, which was like 2 hours drive from Lahore, and he used to go every day and come back. I didn't have any mentorship. So if somebody like me can build an empire from a scratch, right? So I think with the kind of resources this new generation, especially UCP, I am seeing this such an advanced educational institute with all these facilities and with all these support and development and mentoring systems in place, I think they can do wonders.
Great. Thank you very much for your advice. And thank you very much for bearing with us, and we'll meet again with the next session of Replug. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.